Welcome back to Sunday Vibes. As you can see, there are no pub today.
Sad times.
Zero pubbage in the background because the audio would have been crazy. Too much drilling going on, building work in and around the pub. And there's no Patrick. It's Doogie Critchley.
No pub.
It's Chris Hamill.
No
means
pub,
no
no pato.
Patrick. Yeah, because you can't work without pork scratchings.
Might be the case. Let's go to the first question. It was sent in by VS Game 8. And he says, with a potential 2-year transfer ban looming, what business could Chelsea conduct to stay competitive with the top 6?
This is a really good question.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like it deserves a really extensive answer, so we might revisit it on the podcast. Not this week, though.
No.
This
In due
week
course.
was on Bayern. Let's plug it now. Should we do a little sample from this week's podcast before we go into the first question?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
We need more creativity from the midfield, as well as possibly a regista. A long-term partner for Nicolas Sula, and long-term heirs to Robin and Ribery.
Oh,
Now, feel free to disagree or bring something new to the table.
If you want to download that podcast, hit the links in the description below. But back to Chelsea now. They have got a 2-year transfer ban looming because of supposed dodgy dealings with young players. I think Andreas Christensen might have had some dodgy dealings with his dad as well, being employed as a scout at the club. It all goes back to Bertrand Traore as well. But anyway, potentially 2 years. If that happens, who do they stockpile now and how do they get around it? Doogie.
Well, to start with, I think Chelsea's squad is actually in pretty good shape. I don't think they need major surgery at all. But the issue, there's 2 or 3 things that I'd go for. I think they could go for a new left back who offers more defensive work. Not necessarily to start ahead of Marcos Alonso, because I think he plays well in that Sarri system where he gets a lot of freedom to go forward. But it'd be good to have another alternative.
What about Emerson?
I just haven't seen enough of him, haven't been persuaded by him. But yeah, he's a good backup as well. But I've been doing a bit of research this week, and there's one player that I thought really stood out. He's called Douglas Santos. He plays for Hamburg. He's actually in the Bundesliga 2 at the moment because they got relegated this year. And he is putting up some absolutely crazy numbers. And before you all say it's the Bundesliga 2, it's a much easier league. He was doing pretty much as well last year. He's only 23. He's making 5.2 tackles and interceptions a game. He's making 2.5 key passes from left back. He is just blowing the Bundesliga apart at the moment, and they are top. Look like they're going to come back up this year. He'd be a fairly cheap option to get in. Whether he'd be, ready to start immediately, I'm not so sure. But I think he'd be a better alternative than Emerson and more defensively sound than Marcos Alonso.
You'd throw him straight into a top 4 club.
I'd
He's putting up decent numbers in the Bully 2.
Yeah.
What script is this from, by the way? Plug the video.
It is, what is it? Is it 10 players to watch this year or something like that? But yeah, I mean, how else? I mean, look at N'Golo Kante playing for Cannes, then smashes at Leicester. Just because they're in a lower league or playing for a lower club, I don't think we can just wipe out potential. I mean, how are people ever going to get a chance unless it's on the strength of their
What's the sample
performances?
size like?
He's
Did
played
he fare
for 2
well
years.
the year before
He's
that?
played for 2 years, yeah. He played well in the Bundesliga last year. They got relegated, but that was only his 2nd year in Europe. He came from Atletico Mineiro. He's just a really interesting player, and I advise that anyone should have a look at him. And then in midfield, I think they could use a few more goals in midfield.
But what about Barkley? Barkley's been peppering the goal, and
been.
clearly Maurizio Sarri likes Barkley. I feel like Barkley's finally found a little bit of a home under Maurizio Sarri, and he fits nicely into that tactical system.
He does. He's played exceptionally well this year, particularly compared to how I thought he was going to play. But I think this player that I'm mentioning would be an instant Premier League superstar. I think they should go balls in for James Rodriguez. Unhappy at Bayern.
Like that.
Zidane, possibly, if he gets the Bayern job, he's the guy that sold him or loaned him to Bayern Munich. 7 goals, 11 assists last year. Outstanding player. Great creativity, great goal and assist numbers. I don't know whether he'd naturally fit in a midfield 3, but with the protection of Kante and Jorginho, I think it could work. So yeah, I think James Rodriguez, or a shout for Sarabia at Sevilla, who's been, I think, one of the most underrated players in Europe for the last 2 years or so. He's only 24, absolutely killing it last year, killing it this year. Only 4 players take more shots, 4 centre midfielders take more shots per game than him. Only 3 have created more chances than him since the start of last year. It's his, at 20, I think he's 26 now. This is his time. I think he'd be a great addition.
Time to shine. What I like about the James Rodriguez suggestion is that he can also play on the right. Obviously broke through at Monaco playing on the right-hand side. And that is also an area that might need improvement moving
100%.
forward. Willian getting a lot of minutes under Maurizio Sarri, but is approaching, what, 31, 32, will need a long-term heir soon enough. Sarabi's an interesting shout. I also think Angel Correa is a little underutilised at Atletico Madrid. He's always put up decent creative numbers, can play anywhere along that front line, so has that tactical flexibility. And forwards in a Simeone system, or at least wide men, come under a lot of rotation. I don't think he gets a consistent run of games. This is for Simeone at Atletico Madrid, and I think he's getting a little bit frustrated in the same way that Carrasco did about not having consistent minutes on the pitch. Now he takes decent shot numbers. I think he was averaging 2.5 from attacking midfield last term.
That's nice.
So he could add some of that forward impetus that you're talking about that maybe they're lacking a little bit at the moment, although Hazard's shot numbers are through the roof. Barkley's very productive when he's on the pitch. What I think they'll miss massively is Kovacic when he goes back to Real Madrid, someone to really balance out that midfield. Now they're trying to turn Kante into an attacking midfielder, but not really scoring enough, not a natural finisher, somewhat awkward, a little bit unorthodox.
It does look a bit strange
in front of goal. So they could always move Kante back, and he's still the world's most elite defensive midfielder. So Barkley could come in for Kovacic, could be a little bit of a change around in system, but I think getting someone who complements Jorginho and Kante will be key as well. We've always put forward Alan as a great suggestion. He's very unique in his skill set at Napoli in that he's got great defensive numbers, around 4 tackles, interceptions a game, and he just gets forwards and backwards. His transitional play is absolutely immense. Decent dribbling numbers as well. So someone like him, they'd have to put a lot of cash out. The outlay would be huge, and he's 27 at this point. But Chelsea managers not always given the time, are they, to bring people on, as we've seen with the youth settle, and kind of the problem stems from this. So he might be a quick fix when Kovacic returns, because no doubt Solari will want Kovacic at Real Madrid. They're going to need overhauling big time in a couple of years' time, aren't they? So we actually spoke about James Rodriguez pretty extensively on the podcast, didn't we, and how he's fallen out with Kovac. Doesn't like Kovac's rotation. I think he's only started 5 times this season, but has already contributed to a healthy amount of goals. I think he's 3. So you're right, his future at Bayern looks uncertain, and especially when he's saying things of the gravity like, this isn't Frankfurt, about your new manager. Yeah. He does appear to have burnt a lot of bridges. So I think Rodriguez is a good shout. I'll take a look at Correa, but I think they're going to need a centre forward. Giroud, no Premier League goal yet. Morata, okay, he's got 5, but he's still coming under some criticism, and some of it's due. I think there's a lot to Morata's game that goes underappreciated. His link-up play is okay. He works hard. In comparison to Lukaku, when he's having a bad time, he still tries an awful lot. He's maybe the victim of inverted wingers because he likes balls into the box, doesn't he? There is bread and butter. We saw it last season with Azpilicueta.
Yeah,
his aerial presence, he's always been a fantastic header of the ball. So I think they need competition up front. I've got a few candidates, but I think this leads nicely into your suggestion, and you've been peddling this for a long time, haven't you?
100%. I think Mauro Icardi would be a fantastic striker in that system. However, I do think that they should just bring Michy Batshuayi back on a cheap option and use him as that competition. I think that clearly he's been undervalued over the last 2 to 3 seasons by nearly every manager that's had him. The one worry for me, in the same respect that Icardi worries me, I don't know whether they provide enough link-up play for a Maurizio Sarri system. And I don't know whether it'd be better served going and looking for a striker that is slightly different to the ilk that Chelsea have employed recently, where we've seen them have the likes of Didier Drogba up front, Olivier Giroud up front, even Alvaro Morata, all very good in the air, all physically strong strikers. I wonder whether they'd be better served looking for a player like a Dries Mertens. Not easy to identify, but someone that almost plays as a false 9, but a genuine 9. Well, who drops in between the lines. He's a real striker, Mertens.
But he's quite old now, is he anything?
But I'm not saying go for him. I'm saying go for a player like him. And whether or not that maybe even means playing Hazard as a 9, I don't know. I think Eden Hazard's better drifting in between the lines, but I wouldn't be completely averse to that.
So what my issue with Icardi, and I think it goes without saying, he's just a wonderful, wonderful poacher, and he, despite only getting 3 shots off a game, you know, he's still contributing to a goal every 90 minutes last season or something ridiculous like that, is that yes, he doesn't drop back to link up with play, happy to be a peripheral figure. Said this a lot before, but Chelsea are already taking the second most shots in the Premier League behind Manchester City. So actually they are spreading this out. Sarri ball is coming to fruition.
It's working.
They're spreading it out nicely. They don't need a £100 million striker, in my opinion. I think that's probably better served finding that right winger, maybe the central midfielder, maybe even another centre-back, because David Luiz's contract is up at the end of the season.
I was just about to mention centre-back.
So I'll leave centre-back to you, but part of my head wants them to go in for Lewandowski for 100 mil, because I probably think Bayern himself for 100 mil. It's just like, yeah, I'd love to see Lewandowski rip up the Premier League. He's got another 2-3 years left of being an elite striker.
It would be great, wouldn't it?
But spend it more wisely on younger players, because, I mean, I've mentioned Alan. I mean, he'd probably see you out to the transfer ban, but yeah, they need to start blooding some young talent. Gong.
Yeah,
Always say that.
not the easiest to find though, is it? Obviously, if you're looking for wingers, I don't think there are many better options that for a relatively gettable fee than Memphis Depay. Obviously doesn't operate on the right-hand side, but could potentially, if forced out there, also has, on occasion, played as a 9. So wouldn't be the worst option. Absolute shot monster as well. Has been doing really good things for the Netherlands as a 9.
Bits for club and country, hasn't it?
So I don't think he would
goal involvements
cost an
in 20
awful
games
amount.
You actually,
crazy.
you mentioned Leon Bailey in the podcast, and you touch on him quite heavily.
Yeah.
So I don't know how in depth you want to go, but he's been linked with Chelsea for a long time. Zach was very excited when it looked like he was coming in the summer.
Well, yeah, we talked about Leon
in
the podcast really heavily, and for me, he would be an ideal replacement for an Arjen Robben. Although he does operate generally on the left-hand side at Leverkusen, his dribble numbers, whilst played as a right winger, are actually amongst the best in the entire league for players on the right-hand side. I actually think he's got the #1 position for dribbles into the box from a right wing position, and as a left footer that arguably makes you more dangerous because you're cutting back in and you're looking to curl into that far corner, which is always a problem, which would kind of work well with Eden Hazard. We see Eden Hazard do that so well on the left hand side and occasionally on the right. Of course, we saw it obviously against Liverpool in that wonder goal he scored this season, but mainly on the left-hand side when he comes inside and smashes it across the keeper. So that would be a nice little balance, but you identified it there. I think central defenders are a real issue for Chelsea. We've got...
Who are we thinking for centre-back then?
Well, let's talk about the problems first. David Luiz, what is he, 31, out of contract in the summer as well, I believe?
I think
they should give him another. They should definitely.
He's been outstanding.
I think he's been great.
We've got Azpilicueta, 29. We've got Gary Cahill, who's surely coming close to finish now, 32 maybe.
Gary Cahill has got a Newcastle or an Everton written all over him.
But we've also then got...
right through him.
Maybe a Watford.
Maybe a Brighton.
We've also got Andreas Christensen, who has publicly bemoaned his lack of playing time, has said
despite
he wants
the
to
fact
leave.
he's got a job there at the club.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's still got a job there, but he's asked effectively to leave unless he gets more game time. We've got Kurt Zouma out on loan, who, despite getting decent chances at Everton, is yet to really make that step into the player we thought he would be when he originally joined.
I think he's played too badly this year, though.
No.
Everton, they've got their defence in order in the last few weeks at least.
Yeah, that is true. But equally, when he first joined, what is it now, 5 years ago, we're expecting him to be one of the world's most elite central defenders.
Time with injuries as well.
And has had terrible
any
injuries.
year in Stoke is a wasted year.
Yeah, so not really worked out there. So you're looking at a partner for Antonio Rudiger, which I think we can all agree Andreas Christensen should become. But they might well look at another option. And across Europe, we identified on the podcast as well, centre-backs are hard to come by.
And when you do come by them, they're very expensive. Yeah.
Really, really expensive.
I think they could also get a bit more depth at right-back. I'm never being convinced by Zappacosta. I think that was a bizarre move for 20+ million.
Yeah, you might be right. And Victor Moses clearly isn't cutting.
And Victor Moses is not going to work as a right back. He's a perfectly able right wing back.
And we decent little pick up someone that plays 3-4-3.
But
I'm thinking like a much lesser club, obviously.
But we talk about centre back struggles to sign players. The right back's an even harder issue.
Yeah.
We did it on the Man United one. We couldn't find a right back for love nor money other than Wan-Bissaka, really.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mukiele. RB Leipzig. We spoke about Upamecano, Milenkovic. Milenkovic was actually linked with United today, so we're going to leave them. Kimpembe would cost an absolute fortune.
Just signed a new contract
out of PSG. Just signed a new contract. Didn't know that. Jonathan Tah. Is he ready to make the step up from Bayer Leverkusen? We've always really liked him, as well as Wendell at left back. I wonder if he's still doing this in the German league.
Yeah. The other name I'd like to mention just as a centre back is Matthias Ginter. Matthias Ginter is a name we were going to bring to the podcast, but we didn't in the end. A real ball playing central defender, and becoming an increasing mainstay in the German national team as well, alongside the likes of Hummels and Boateng, ahead of the likes of Jonathan Tah. His name doesn't get thrown around a lot, but still I believe 23, 24 years old wouldn't be the worst pickup. Probably not going to cost a great deal of money from Mönchengladbach. And if you are going to sell Andreas Christensen and you're forced into doing so, maybe that's a player you look at and go, if you want Christensen back at Mönchengladbach, we'll be taking Matthias Ginter from you.
Yeah. If I was Sarri though, I think the easy option is to give David Luiz at least another year. I think he's played so well this season alongside Rudiger. I think his ball progression's really good. I think he's a really useful squad player.
Very unique.
Yeah, I think he could definitely do another year. I'd look to get another backup right back and rotate with Azpilicueta at times.
I think, so the ban's 2 years, right? So even giving David Luiz another year doesn't really solve that issue. So I do think you need to go in for a centre back.
But then Christensen's there. I don't think that's as necessary as some other positions.
I feel like that the ship has almost sailed with him being considered to be a first-team centre-back at Chelsea. There must be some reason why he's not had a sniff in the last 18
100%.
months. I don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, don't really want to speculate. And Sarri tends to stick with the same starting lineup, so maybe that's why he's not been given a chance. Maybe he does think he's on the cusp. So you're right in that regard, but then if he gets injured, if Rudiger gets injured,
if Rudiger gets injured, you've got massive issues because Gary Cahill comes in.
And Sarri ball is dependent from quick distribution from the back. The keeper, its distribution in his sides has never been long. Pepe Reina used to complete about 60 passes a game. Like, it needs to go to a Koulibaly or it needs to go to a Gulam, and then they work it up the channel quickly. And that's what Rudiger and Luiz, more so Luiz with the short game, are really good at. So, I mean, we all kind of hailed Christensen as a fantastic passer, didn't we, when he broke into the team?
Yeah.
So maybe he's that guy, but I think get your centre-back suggestions in the comments below, because it is difficult.
Yeah. One guy that I'd like to push forward is a guy called William, who plays for Wolfsburg. He's 24, he's Brazilian, and he is just playing so well at the moment. He's also capable of playing at defensive midfield. I don't know.
Is he a right back?
Yeah, he's a right back and defensive midfielder, and he can also play on the left.
Scouting the Bundesliga.
I've been tapping
Did I
away
right
this
click
week.
you and send you on a scouting mission to the Bully
Football
2?
Manager, Doogie, 2 weeks in the Bundesliga. Yeah, and he's putting up about 4.8 tackles and interceptions, which is just lower than Douglas Santos that I was talking earlier. Massive, massive numbers, and that's from right back. He hasn't played at centre mid this year, but he did a lot last year. And he also, completes about 1.5 dribbles a game. He gets a key pass in there as well. He's, had, I think, 2 assists so far. Playing really, really well for Wolfsburg, so it might be worth looking at, but it doesn't solve that centre-back issue at all. It's just
Does he suit stylistically to a Sarri?
It's difficult to say. I don't think Wolfsburg play... I mean, no one really plays like Sarri, but I'd like to think that he'd be able to adapt at least. He's come on leaps and bounds in the 3 years he's been at Wolfsburg. So, the potential's there. Yeah. But yeah, whether he wouldn't be a natural straight into the first team, but he'd be a great backup right back, and he can also play as defensive midfield. So potentially useful signing.
Going back to your identification of maybe needing more shots from midfield, this has just come to mind. I don't know if it really makes sense. I'm going to throw it out there, but Alassane Player
safe space.
Has been... Thanks, mate. I feel warm and cosy inside. Warm and cosy, or warm and fuzzy inside?
Warm and fuzzy.
Fuzzy.
You can feel cosy as well, whatever floats your boat.
Whatever tickles your pickle. Alassane Player has been sensational for Gladbach this season. I've not checked his underlying numbers, so he might just be running really hot. But after a banging season, like even if he drops, his numbers will be great at the end of the season. He might be worth considering bringing to the Premier League, because we really liked him when he was at Nice as well. Although Sarri's not really fared that well, but no one has at Fulham. So, yeah,
I saw the highlights of him play against Bayern Munich when they beat them 3-0, and he ran Hummels and Boateng ragged. Yeah. They were praying to come off the pitch.
I mean, they were so lucky to get out of that game at 3-0. It was housery of the highest order, which I was fully on board with.
And I'm sure that a few people at home will be saying, what about the academy? Because Chelsea have a long and famed academy system. They've brought through some incredible talent,
amazing
not just to their team, but other teams as well. And I look at this, I'm thinking immediately Ruben Loftus-Cheek in terms of progressive midfielders who are slightly better going forward than they are going backwards when we talk about a creative midfield presence. He's not a bad option in there.
Where has he been playing when he's played in the Europa League?
He scored a hat-trick the other week.
Does he play on the right-hand side, not the Callahan role? Zach, where does he play off camera? Left centre mid.
In a Kovacic role. He plays, so the slightly more advanced role of the three, then I'm guessing, which I think suits him better. He did, I think, operate as a defensive midfielder at times in the Chelsea youth sides, but now he has operated more progressively at Crystal Palace and for England and for Chelsea.
He's played as a 10, he can play as a wing. He is really tactically versatile. I'd love to see him get more game time.
So would I.
I'd love to see him go on loan for the second half of this year.
Yeah.
Schalke and Crystal Palace are again looking at him. I did transfer talk this week. They're looking at him again, and that'd be great just for 6 months, and then see where you can go next summer. Because at the moment,
I would do the same with Ethan Ampadu. Get Ethan Ampadu to the Bundesliga ASAP on loan.
Ampadu. Yeah, I do. I like Ampadu as well, and I was just thinking potentially they could sign Brahim Diaz from City. Really rub salt in the wind.
On a free as well.
Yeah, well, they're getting penalised for signing, youth, like in a poor, business-like fashion. So why not just double down on it and go?
Although I did see that Real Madrid this week were exploring the possibilities of signing Brahim Diaz.
Oh God!
When they probably come calling, he'll probably go to Real Madrid if he gets the choice.
Very much in the Asensio mould there, which has worked well. They'd send him out on loan for a year straight away. There's no way he gets into that first team.
Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much our thoughts on Chelsea and what they should do to cover that 2-year transfer ban if it happens. But what are your thoughts on the whole Chelsea situation, and who should they go out and sign? Let us know in the comments down there. Moving on to quick fire questions now. The first one was sent in by Harry CFC2. He says, what club in the Premier League has the most influential captain? Now, what do we think about influential captains? Because Pato hates them, doesn't believe in it.
Vital, I think.
He's disgusted by the concept of authorities and being told what to do. It's hard enough.
He's his own man.
On a day-to-day basis. Influential captains, okay. This is really difficult. And what do I think to the concept of captain? I mean, I'm all for it.
That's it.
Yeah, like a Roy the Rovers type figure.
I agree. I think they're really important. The communication between the manager, the players. Someone needs to tell all these players who come from around the world how to play on a football pitch, and often it's just got to be from one leader. And how to act off of it. We've got to really establish the club philosophy. You're right. They've got to massage egos. They've got to be they've got to be a diplomat. I think you've probably got the best answer.
Yeah, I think it has to be Vincent Kompany. I think Vincent Kompany, despite being injured consistently for 4 seasons, has had more influential effect both off the pitch and on the pitch in the way City play than any other player in the Premier League almost, not even just the captains. He is a true leader behind the scenes. Anybody who's seen the Amazon Prime documentary will know how influential he is.
What a lovely guy as well.
Particularly on youngsters.
Smart guy
and
as well.
staff behind the scenes and local schools and the community.
Building that culture of excellence, like demanding a certain amount of quality from players, from themselves. Some captains who kind of dragged their teams through the mud at times, it would seem, in the Premier League. Lascelles for Newcastle.
Yeah, although he
he scored
some
vital goals for them at the end of last season, has signed a new contract recently.
Yeah.
Said Mike Ashley was not as bad as everyone thought, clearly trying his best to, again, build bridges between fans and the players and the club. Is Dunk Brighton's captain?
I think he is, yeah.
I feel like he's their go-to man as well when they need a hero, Slammers.
Step up, Lewis.
Big time. And also Conor Cody at Wolves, to a certain extent.
Yeah, Wolves are just an impressive club, I think. I saw an interview with Conor Cody the other day. It seems like he's got a wise head on relatively young shoulders. Seems like a real leader as well. And I think everything about Nuno Espirito Santo as well is just really impressive on a side note. I think he's been phenomenal this year. They are punching they're punching at that weight in their first year back up. It's just phenomenal. But yeah, Conor Cody and him seem like a really dynamic leadership team and seem to be doing a really good job.
Yeah, I like it when you see a young captain because you think you must be a Don.
Ruben Neves.
At 22.
It's like Totti.
I'm thinking Kieran Tierney,
Maldini,
all players of
Roma
that calibre.
at 23.
Totti at Roma at 23.
Mental.
Crazy.
Let's go on to the next one then. This one was from the Pug referee. He says, when do you think there'll be another tactical revolution in football? What do you think of Thiago Motta's 2-7-2 formation at the PSG under-19?
Right, someone needs to explain this to me because I haven't got my head around it at all.
I will take it.
Please
do. Effectively, this week, Thiago Motta gave an interview to Gazzetta dello Sport, and he basically said, I don't really believe in tactics and numbered positions in a similar way to Pep Guardiola. Doesn't believe it. I think he said it's like phone numbers. But he says, from right to left, I play a 2-7-2. And the goalkeeper operates as a midfielder in that 2-7-2. Now, a lot of the English press have taken this upon themselves to say, oh, you know, he's revolutionary. We're going to see a goalkeeper in central midfield.
They've not ridiculed it without a second look. They've gone straight to revolutionary.
They've gone straight to revolutionary.
I don't understand it though, because every team plays 2-7-2. Because there's normally a right back and a right winger and a left back and a left winger.
And he says, exactly.
It's just where you put the goalkeeper.
Says, it's almost, earlier in the quote, he's talking about how a 4-3-3 can be both progressive and defensive. So really, when he says from right to left, it is a weird way of saying a tactical layout. Is a right winger and a right back, there's your two. 7 central players, including the goalkeeper in there, and then a left winger and a left back. Yeah, there's your 2. So it is a 2-7-2. If you're going right to left, who goes right to left?
It's mental.
Come on.
Right to left.
And what
Japan.
What's
that's left to right, isn't it?
What's this idea about? What is the keeper going to do in midfield? Is he going to have his gloves on?
But you're thinking totally wrong. It's just a normal.
Is he going to have his gloves on?
Yeah, obviously in centre mid.
It's just a normal 4-3-3. But if you laid it out with.
But you said the keeper's in midfield.
He is. In a Thiago Motta.
Is he out of his box?
Well, listen to what I'm saying.
His average position is in midfield?
No, because he has laid it out. If you took a team and rotated the layout of a formation 90 degrees, you would go right to left.
I get that.
But the layout of the positions are the exact same as a 4-3-3.
But when you said he wants his goalkeeper to be a midfielder, do you just mean in the sense that Ederson is a fantastic ball player?
No, I mean in the sense that he sits within the 7-centric
players. Yeah, okay, but he's not going to play in midfield. Right, okay. Well, then this isn't... Then why is this even a story? He's just numbered... The headline is Thiago Motta numbers his team wrongs. 2-7-2.
100%.
When he means 4-3-3. The goalkeeper's not playing in midfield. I thought he was playing like a Kante role and then he'd run back to keep the goal and just do some saves as well and then come out.
I mean, if that is what Thiago Motta meant, then he's an idiot.
I feel grossly unprepared to take on his new philosophy.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. He's just numbering it weirdly.
I agree.
I don't care.
I think it's just a mistranslation. But if he does start playing a 2-7-2 in the under-19s, please let us know because we all want to watch the game.
Please let the
I
keeper
agree
in the
with
midfield.
Socrates. Football should be 9-a-side now. Absolute chaos.
Yeah, it would be chaos. The next one was sent in by Vine_85. He says, which player who played for your favourite club for more than 3 years do you wish your manager had never signed?
Which player?
Wait, which favourite player do you wish the club had never signed?
Which player who played for your favourite club for more than 3 years do you wish your manager had never signed?
So which player do you wish your current manager had never signed? I don't get the 3-year part. Why do you have to
at least 3 years?
It never says anything about current manager.
Should we go with current manager or just at any
I think
time?
at any point over the last time you've been fan of
the old Sunderland Celtic duo are back. You can all tune out for the next 5 minutes.
Quite a few choices. I'd probably say Jack Rodwell's got to be right up there.
Was he there for more than 3 seasons?
he was there for about 5.
Oh my God.
70k a week, right? England's next big thing. Then went missing for about 6 months. Chris Coleman at the time literally said, I don't know where he is.
But then he said, he backtracked, didn't he? He said, no, I meant that mentally.
Well, I like to say that he just doesn't know where he is. I think he went completely AWOL. And then Adam Johnson proved to be a massive waste of money as well. And yeah, the sooner we move off that topic, the easier. But yeah, what a disgusting bloke as well. And yeah, Sunderland have had a string of awful signings really, and quite a lot of bad luck as well.
Doing well this season though, on the up.
Yeah, we're on the up. We're on the up. But anyway, moving on to Celtic before everyone,
There's not many people that really me off that have been at Celtic because we don't make that many high-risk signings, and our recruitment has been excellent the last 2 or 3 years. In particular, people that have flattered to deceive. Dimansi Kamara, remember when he came on loan?
Was he the old
Fulham guy?
Yeah, and that was when he was not in his pomp, but like a Premier League player. Henri Camara, we were paying him an absolute wedge to be there.
Did he used to play for Wigan? That guy?
Yes, he was absolutely terrible.
He was quite quick.
Yuri Jarazic. I say Thomas Gravesen into this question more often than not because he's on 40k a week, and like when are Celtic ever going to sign a player from Real Madrid again? So yeah, Gravesen was just that headless like chicken.
Bet you were excited that day.
He was just like one of those toys that you wind up and only changes direction when he bumps into something. But yeah, more recently then, I mean, Arzani, who we signed from. City is
Melbourne City.
Well, he's on loan from Manchester City because they signed him from Australia. yeah, he's injured for the rest of the year. We got him on an 18-month loan, and he's out now for 12 months. So that was pretty disappointing.
He's going to have a big 6 then.
You've probably got an endless list at United.
Long list. I don't know. I'm struggling to pick one outstanding candidate. I mean, Anderson was a big letdown. Anderson was a big letdown. Anderson won Golden Boy.
Yeah.
And I remember reading Sir Alex Ferguson's autobiography, and in that he says that when he signed Anderson, his chief scout said that this lad is better than Rooney. And it was like, this is going to be the outstanding candidate for our central midfield position for years to go. Never really got to the height. So maybe more of a disappointing one there. Fabian Barthez was one.
In the Brazilian league as well. Did you buy him directly from? Did you buy him directly from the Brazilian?
No, I bought him from Porto. Porto.
The one that's always in those lists of 10, worst United signings, always Juan Sebastian Veron. What did you make?
I don't know whether he was there 3 years.
Maybe not 3 years.
He might have been there 3 years.
I was a bit young
again,
for
it was another just a disappointing.
What a supremely talented footballer he was, though.
Yeah, he was more of a. The trouble with Veron was he just didn't work in the system because we had players like Paul Scholes in there who were both better and wanted his role.
Spearheaded that famous comeback against Spurs, though.
Yeah, he did, actually.
What a game that was, 5-3?
But there are some messes in there. I think if Eric Jemba was there 3 years, then God help us.
He went to St. Mirren again.
Yeah, he did end up.
How about that for a career trajectory?
Where Anton Ferdinand is at the moment, St. Mirren.
Absolutely shot to bits.
Premier League old folks, though.
Let's do our personal questions, because there's only 2 of them, and one of them is an absolute joke. Gabrielle Yalonen, don't know how this has been included in the script. Rank your favourite condiments.
Condiments? This is a great question. It's just a personal question.
Does that include sauces?
I mean, tomato ketchup has got to be up there.
It's got to be up there. Mayo.
The thing is, it's like such a Romeo and Juliet situation with me and ketchup in our house, because my girlfriend is actually petrified of ketchup.
Scared?
Like, yeah, actual phobia.
Physically?
Like, I've chased around the house with ketchup before, and she's cried, and I've been like, oh my God,
is she scared of blood as well, or just ketchup?
Bullying. No, it's just ketchup. I don't know if she had some sort of ketchup-related trauma when she was younger, but she's mortified.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Honestly, and like, if I've had it, I have to go brush my teeth before I kiss her. It's ridiculous.
Trips to the chicken has been absolutely nice.
So ketchup's a treat now.
Yeah.
Ketchup, mayo and chips is outstanding. Is there any like proper outlandish ones that you've got? Like a blue cheese sauce is.
I quite like gravy on chips.
Yes!
Yes!
Whenever I used to go to the Stadium of Light when I was at uni, often by myself, because no one would want to come with me, I'd go and get chips, and well, not because I didn't have any friends. No one wanted to watch Sunderland lose. And I had no friends as well. And I'd have my chips and gravy pre-game. That would get me sorted. But otherwise, yeah, I'm quite standard. Mayo, ketchup.
I think curry sauce.
Oh.
A curry sauce from the chippy.
Yes.
Or is it? I don't know how to pronounce it. Garlic aioli?
Oh, yeah.
Aioli? Oh my God, I'm obsessed with that.
You're obsessed with garlic bread, though, aren't you?
Oh, I cannot get enough garlic. If you could pour garlic into my veins, I'd be delighted.
The moment when Thomas realised you can ask for cheese to be put on garlic bread at Nando's.
Yeah, if you don't know, you can ask for cheese to be sprinkled on top of garlic bread at Nando's, and they'll cook it too, so it melts in. It's an absolute revolution.
Like a bit of jerk as well.
Shout out to Béarnaise sauce as well on a steak.
You're very Béarnaise.
You are very Béarnaise, yeah.
If we were condiments, what condiments would we do?
Yeah, you'd definitely be Béarnaise.
You're Béarnaise.
Is Béarnaise the posh one?
What's
classic gag again?
Might probably be like, is Marmite a condiment?
You're quite, you could be Marmite.
Love him or hate him.
No, you'd be quite spicy, I think.
Oh, would I?
Yeah.
I'll take that, mate.
I don't know what you...
I mean, should we move on from the condiment questions to the next one?
This is honestly one of the best bits of Some of the Vibes we've ever produced.
Craig Embleton.
Name my condiment below, bye.
Craig Embleton has the final question of the day. He says, have any of you played Football Manager? What's your best stories of the game and the best regen you've ever
I loved Football Manager.
Should we just take a pew while Tomlinson...
No, go on, you tell me yours.
Well, yeah, it all started playing Championship Manager 03. Well, I actually wasn't playing it.
03, 04?
03, 04,
Freddie Adu vibes?
Yeah, I started with Arsenal, and I basically my brother played and I watched him play, and to impress him, I'd have to go and scout players for him, like do my own research, which I genuinely think that's why I got into football. So he then let me have half an hour to go pick the transfers.
And you got your brother to thank for your career now.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was convinced that Luis Boamorte would be a good fit for Arsenal at 30. And it just wasn't. And
but he had 20s everywhere. He was ruthless on that edition of the game.
He was good, but he was just a bit past it. And I dropped Robert Pires and put Luis Boamorte on the left.
He just crushed it at Porto around that sort of time, hadn't he?
He went to West Ham though.
I bought him for West Ham. But yeah, I used to play for about 8 hours a day growing up. I used to save games before the big games, and then quit if I lost, and then re-go. It would take me months to do seasons, but I'd always win. It was always worth it.
I'd always win. I used to, like a couple of my friends, we used to play like add a manager, and we actually would sit there and play 3 of us on one computer. This was Champman 4.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, but it takes an absolute age, and we normally would just see out pre-season, first 5 games, and just be like, let's just do it again so we can, you know, experience the
Would
summer
you have
again,
different roles?
the transfer window. And bless them, they used to, I don't know if they, you know, hold this against me, but we used to go to Scotland quite a lot, and my mate Breedy used to have to be Motherwell. Glenn was always Aberdeen, and I don't speak to Glenn now, and that might be why. But yeah, I used to be Arsenal quite a lot actually, and I'd always sign. It was Champman 4. That was how I got into it as well, and I always signed Kaka, and I think that's why I've just loved Kaka from there on in.
It's been pricey then.
Having Kaka as a 10, he wasn't that pricey. I think he had a release clause. This was before he went to Milan, so.
Should have recommended that to my brother.
But yeah, go on. You've got loads of stories. I think of some more.
I mean, I was kind of obsessed with Football Manager. I haven't really played it that much post-university days because I kind of actually.
Did you play at uni as well?
University, I actually probably, if I'm being totally honest, I did develop a problem.
Really?
Did you have to do a 9-step?
I was effectively, I was in a really bad place in Football Manager. I was playing probably like 10 hours a day, Football Manager.
Really? I've been in that phase about
to the level of waking up at like 6 AM to play, and then going to like lectures, coming back. I completed the Pentagon Challenge, which for anybody at home who knows how hard that is
yeah, it wasn't just Man United. You were on every continent.
So
what's
the Pentagon Challenge is to start unemployed and then win the Champions League on all 5 continents.
So Copa Libertadores, the African Champions League,
African Champions League, Asian Champions League, the ML, like the equivalent, whatever the ML, the CONCACAF.
Yeah.
Cup,
So who did you win all these competitions with? African Champions League.
So African Champions League was the Black Stars.
Yeah.
Are they Ghana?
Okay.
No, I think they're South African.
Ooh.
Okay.
Signing Benedict Vilkazi from the Orlando Pirates was a banging one as well, from South Africa.
And
Kaiser Chiefs was
going to be taking
good fertile ground as well.
It was South African then. I can't remember. It was one of the big Chinese teams in the Asian one. I think it was Gwangju Evergrande. Then I actually went to China first. I played 7 seasons in China unemployed. 4 to get promoted out of the 2nd division into the 3rd. 1 more season to get a big job. Won it in there. Then I went to Africa. It was actually, it might have been the Mamelodi Sundowns. I think
Malawi Sundowns, yeah.
Down in South Africa. Won it, I think, after 3 or 4 seasons there. Then I went to South America. Flitted around a few different Brazilian clubs, and between Corinthians. I think I ended up at Flamengo.
Shout out to Palmeiras.
Yeah, won a championship there. Then I went up to the MLS. Then I went up to the MLS. I won the CONCACAF Championship with the San Jose Earthquakes.
How you're not a virgin, it beggars belief.
I know, it's unbelievable. Then I finally got the big break into Europe with Napoli.
Lovely.
Where I won the Europa League. Couldn't get anywhere near the Champions League, was getting consistently pumped in the Europa League. Then got a big break at, I think, Chelsea before finally getting a contract offer by United.
I mean, even describing it as a big break is
but I had like
a glimpse into the mindset.
I'm like 2042. And I was playing extensive, not like, let's just skip and play ahead and holiday.
Is it fun when you don't know the players though?
Yeah, it is fun because you start to like get proper good relationships with individual players. So like at the Mamelodi Sundowns, I had a player who scored.
It's all about the online relationships.
I had a player who scored 72 goals in a calendar year.
Were you with your girlfriend at this point?
I was, and I don't know how on earth she dealt with it because it got to the level where on my personal Twitter, a different Twitter to the one I have now, I was photoshopping my head onto faces of footballers and lifting cups.
Whoever's editing this, please bring them up.
I'm glad we've revisited
but yeah, it just got a little bit too much, so I kind of, in order to complete my degree, I had to stop.
Oh, you're through it now, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
at the other side.
And just none of the football
I found him breaking up a Football Manager CD, crushing it and snorting the glitter off a desk the other day, so
yeah, not great, but one day I will return probably, if the call comes.
There's a lot of regret in those eyes. I don't know about whether you're missing
sadness.
it. Yeah.
There is a certain sadness, and then like literally, was it last year or the year before's game? I presented the like run through of like this. To do the scout report, all you have to do is click in the top right menu, go through preferences, and presented it for Official Football Manager, which was quite like a weird.
That's full circle.
Full circle.
Must have loved that.
Yeah, from obsessive to presenting it. But that is my experience of Football Manager anyway. But yeah, we like Football Manager, so if you like it, let us know your longest season, best regen ever in the comments below, because I will definitely read them all and probably assess over them.
How many Champions Leagues on different continents have you
Send us the best player profile, where
screenshot it,
lays out all their skills that you've ever witnessed, and tag Football Manager in it so they know we're giving them free publicity.
That's such a good shout, because I love looking at regens. Anybody who downloaded the hair packs for the regens on FM 2012 that gave them real life hair.
Oh Lord.
Sick, man.
Get out your mum's basement.
So that's it for this episode of Sunday Vibes. If you haven't already, download the podcast. Links are in the description below. Gentlemen, what else is happening on Football Daily this weekend?
Why don't you go check out yesterday's Stat Wars The League. I believe it's Chris versus Zach. I just did the points the wrong way, Chris versus Zach. And go check out all the other Stat Wars The Leagues, because we're really enjoying the format, and I hope you guys are too.
Me and you are battling out me and McCubbin battling out for second
Champions
and third
League places,
pulling away a little bit, but still keeping him in touching distance. So, anyway, what else? FDFC Bucket List is going live as well. Sevens is coming out, where we play 7-a-side, or where I pass to Luca and he does the rest. So,
very good player.
Shout out to Luca. Bye.